One, two, three, four. Welcome everybody to the First Circuit podcast on the 1st of October 2018. Today's topics are Invasion versus Resistance event, Invasion versus Resistance sale, All Out Assault bundle. We have some things to let you know about the First Circuit podcast SoundCloud, and we'll be talking mostly about the semifinals happening now. So first off, we have Biter as one of our hosts.
Hello.
And Old Bob. Hello. So first off, we're going to get to the events. Let me get that here. So first off, we got the events happening, and it looks like BGI is actually listening to what we have been talking about. A lot of times, we've always had a problem with the events as far as everyone has C-bills, everyone has MC. Not everyone does, like all the major guys do. But the thing is, though, like we need something kind of like to grasp us into the events, to bring us into the events. And one of the things that they have been doing, which we did suggest a long time ago, is having bolt-ons for your mechs themselves as rewards. And I actually highly like that, and I'm glad they're actually listening to what's happening. I mean, I can't tell you how many warhorns I do have. I mean, I have warehouses full of warhorns and little hanging things from a cockpit and like everything else. And they did a really good job as far as the mechs themselves. Like, what do you think, Spider?
Okay, so there's quite a lot to these this weekend's event, and in fact, it's going on for like they set the time in total to be about 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
There's two main components though, which is the invasion/resistance mechs are all, if you get kills and KMDDs with them, you can earn the bolt-ons, and then the second part would be the trial by fire challenges, which have combos of 2 Innisphere light mechs, 2 clan light mechs, 2 Innisphere mediums, 2 clan mediums, etc., etc. You have to do a certain amount of damage in each weight category with these 2 mechs together to get 750k C-bills and just 50 MC. The bolt-on one is an interesting one. Like, obviously, I think bolt-ons are certainly a thing to reward players, and it's a different food pellet from usual.
Yeah.
The problem is, unlike warhorns, you get a warhorn, you can put it in your favorite mech no matter what. These, though, with the resistance and invasion, you have to actually own the mech to start with, and you actually want the bolt-on for that mech, because this is you can't just take like for the mislinks here, there's an antenna solar. You can't just take that and put it on any mech. It's only for the mislinks. So if you don't really use the mech, then it's not really encouraging you to play it. And I must admit, at least personally, I don't exactly look at all the bolt-ons, and I don't know which ones look good on what mechs.
Yeah.
So before I do each challenge, I have to A, own the mech, and then B, go into the mech's cosmetics and check out whether I even want to bother grinding for this.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that like I had a big problem with bolt-ons was that it was specific to that mech itself and not actually for the chassis. Most of the warhorns, just like we're talking about, goes to anything you want to. Now, if they had it for the whole chassis, I mean, you're spending 1,000 MC. I mean, literally like $9 to have some backpack on your mech or something, or some spiky shoulder bits for only one specific mech that you like. I mean, it's cool and everything, don't get me wrong, but the value cost is astronomically high for something that gets hit, someone bumps you, and then your bolt-on's gone. You're like, well, that kind of sucks. That defeats the whole purpose. But yeah, you're right though. Because a lot of these mechs, I mean, the Crab I play sometimes, Enforcer rarely, Wolfhound rarely, the Panther, I actually haven't played my Panther for a long time. But these specific mechs, you actually start popping these out, and I wouldn't play these mechs again. I just wouldn't actually do it. Like the Arctic Cheetah, I have it. I played it I think 20 times, and it's just sitting in my warehouse right now. But the value for the value for the bolt-ons and everything, it's a cool idea. I like the idea, and it's something cool. Hey, get 12 KMDDs or 10, you get this cool bolt-on to pop on there. But they really got to change it to actually be the chassis itself and not just one specific mech. Because that's a very non-cost-effective type item.
because bolt-ons are so discreet about where and how many mechs you can equip it to or what mechs, it isn't so much of a reward, which is partly why perhaps it hasn't been given in the past.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm not too infused by these. I would say there's also a couple of bolt-ons that just feel so bad, like the Mauler and I think the Arctic Cheetah. They give a bolt-on for the arm, like the right arm, so it's not even a matching pair.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
You're just getting a thing to put on one side of your mech. So even if you really do like the Mauler, or at least want to, might as well take your Maulers out of the warehouse, dust them off, and have a bit of fun. At the end, you've got an asymmetrical mech if you want to equip it.
Well, yeah.
So it's just not really worth your time. The other thing, at least, is because these are resistance and invasion mechs. They are, I mean, with this whole challenge, at least on average, a lot of these mechs are older. They're slightly obsoleted, a lot of them at least, or a lot of people aren't used to using them. Like, I mean, not many are going to be used to using the Zeus, for example. And you have to get kills and or KMDDs, a lot of them, 16 kills or KMDDs in the Zeus, for example. That
Well,
could be a lot of time for your average player in a Zeus.
I mean, I rarely seen the gargoyle and rarely seen the executioner like on the field, and you're right about that. I mean, the Ebon Jaguar I see all the time. The Hellbringer definitely see the Shadow Cat, the Ice Ferret. I mean, almost never in the Arctic Cheetah I do see, but I mean, literally though, you won't see a lot of these mechs because they have something called power creep like inside the game. Every time a new mech comes out, everyone jumps to that one, finds the best build, and it's so much better than the older builds. And so like you have power creep within the game system. And a lot of these mechs, I mean, you really won't play or see again, like the Gargoyle. I barely see the Gargoyle because there's really no builds for it. I mean, the Executioner as well too. Like that thing just is like, oh my God, that's like a Dark Age Battle Master or something like that. It just doesn't exist, type of thing. But it's you won't see these mechs on the field afterwards. You'll see them just like everyone does a food pellet for the events, for say like for the faction warfare. You'll see him like crazy in that one spot, and then a week later you'll be ghost town.
Yeah, unless you actually use these mechs a lot, then you're not really too encouraged at getting one bolt on. And it requires a lot of kills and KMDDs to do it. And if you're not good with that mech, it's a lot of trying to secure kills or hoping to get lucky to do enough to do a KMDD. So I'm not too infused by the resistance and invasion challenges put around this week. And the trial by fire is, I think, what most people have sort of gone towards.
Yeah.
And even that one has its issues.
What is that? All the like double mechs?
So yeah, trial by fire, for example, we'll talk about the Inner Sphere assault mechs, for example. You have to get 1,400 damage in the Banshee and also 1,400 damage in the Victor.
Two mechs you barely see.
Two mechs you barely see, and you have to hope you own both of them, or you have to if you own one of them, you have to do the rest in the trial mech. Like trial by fire, all of these mechs are available as trial mechs. The problem is trial mechs suck. And you have to get a lot of damage. Like you got to get 1,400 damage in the trial Banshee. What's even on the trial Banshee? I bet it's.
I think there's lasers.
It's 3 large pulse and 4 mediums, which is fine, but it's completely unskilled, of course, because trial mechs do not even come fully skilled. Which, it's just. I mean, it is literally, if you're a new player, you're getting a trial by fire. If you're getting the new player experience to this game, have fun in those terrible trial mechs, and you have to get a lot of damage in them.
Oh yeah, I mean the assault challenge would just be a no go for me basically. So that there goes that 100 like MC gone. As far as it's
not 100 MC, it's just 50.
Well, the
MC.
two of them, but like for the clan one is one too. The Warhawk and the Direwolf.
Yeah, you have to do 2,800 damage in total in Inner Sphere Assault mechs, ones you hardly ever see, and are usually, at least on average, not that great. And at the end of the day, you get only 50 MC and 250,000 C-bills.
Yeah.
Compared to previous events, where it's stuff like get 10 kill assists, here you go, here's 1,000,000 C-bills, here's your food palette. This event is really making you work if you want to get all the MC rewards. Like, I'm not sure if it would take a little bit of time for me to tally up all the total damage here, but 2,800, 5,000-ish damage, and then you add the heavies, the mediums, and lights. They're asking you to play a lot of games to get not very much rewards. And this is the event. This is the part of the event that people are actually sort of interested in, because C-bills and MC is universal.
Yeah.
Whereas the bolt-ons for a mech you hardly ever play, I don't care. Most people don't care about that.
Well, I have to say though that basically looking at the mechs themselves, let's bring another point into it. Looking at the mechs themselves, you have to play those mechs. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I get about 600,000 points a game." It's like, well, yeah, on your meta build, basically, okay, now go take the Timberwolf, go take that out, or the Thunderbolt, or the Jaeger mech, and now go do the same thing. So you're looking at like, oh well, I don't have a build for this. Like, well, this is the whole point about this. You're playing double the time to get the amount of damage wise that you need to go get in order to go do these like events. So it's going to take you double time to do that stuff. And a lot of people don't have that time. A lot of people play casually, jump in the game and have a cup of coffee while they're destroying other mechs, do that kind of thing, play some country music or like whatever, basically kind of get into the mood. And it's just 1,000 points with the Shadowcat. A lot of people don't have builds for Shadowcats or the Hunchback 2C. That's the worst mech I've ever seen. Hunchback 2C, that's a crappy mech, man. And get 1,000 points in that, I could probably maybe do 253, about 350 damage. That's 4 games. Like on average, basically get that done, and then and then Shadowcat. I have no builds for the Shadowcat that I have, none, and so I'll have to go shoot like large lasers or something like that. I don't know, but it just specific design or specific events for specific mechs to get them done is harder than actually just like I said, million C builds just for getting 10 KMDDs. That's a lot easier to do. A lot of people can go get them done really quick, but events and challenges are actually they're supposed to be hard. Don't get me wrong in that. They're definitely supposed to be hard, but some events are like, what? This guy, oh my god, really? But I don't
know. There's a funny thing also with this challenge that really sort of slightly annoys me. It just at least even just tracking what I'm supposed to do.
Hold the phone. Something annoys you, Whiter? Hold on, wait a second.
Yeah. Okay. The issue is also, this is a lot of mechs to keep track of. Oh, have I done this part yet? Have I done that part yet?
Oh yeah.
What is it? It's 4 from each weight category, and so 4, 8, 12, 16. And a lot of these also aren't the same mechs as the invasion and resistance challenges. So you can't even double up. You can't just take out your mislinks, get the damage required, and also get enough kills and KMTDs at the same time.
Ooh, you're right about that. You're right about that.
It's a different mech. Usually, I think the clan there's a bit more overlap. Usually, yeah, I think with the mislinks at least there is. But with the Inner Sphere in particular, I think there's little to no overlap with the mechs, which means it's not just those 16 mechs, it's also all the resistance and invasion ones. It's I don't know, let's just roughly say 30, 25 mechs or something that you have to do for this event. That's a lot of mechs that each mech as well, by the way, requires you to do like at least 1,000 damage or 10 KMDDs or kills in them, which isn't, you could do, at least for me, I could do that in a couple of matches, but for your average player, that's a lot of matches they're asking people to do.
Well, yeah, like the Arctic Cheetah, like you're looking at, okay, I get 800 damage. Normally, a person can do that, an average probably about 2 to 3 games, right? Maybe 4, maybe about 4 games, 4 or 5. But you also got to get, what is it, like 10 KMDDs to get that bolt on too? Is that right?
Yeah, kills.
Yeah. So you might get that, 800 points of damage, but you're looking at, well, I didn't get any kills or KMDDs. I was doing hella damage, but didn't get anything. So then you also have to go and, just like I said, also have to go and go play the thing more and more and more till you get to take. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, the thing is, at least the Arctic Cheetah, the Mislinks, the Shadowcat, I think, those at least have overlap. Ebon Jaguar, I think, as well. They have overlap. So you are actually working towards both. But others like the Hunchback 2C, you have to just do it for its own specific thing, as it's
Yeah,
teamed up with the Shadow Cat.
or the Raven too. I mean, damn,
Yeah,
that's right.
but let's just say roughly 25 mechs, and your average player takes 4, maybe 6 matches, but let's just say 4 matches. That's 100 matches they're asking you to play in the week, to do the whole event.
Like an average player that plays, maybe an hour or two a night. I mean, you're looking, they're not gonna be able to go to finish. Like, I mean, almost all these. They might do the trial challenges, basically, but not the other one. Trial by fire like challenges, but not the other ones, because they literally have to play one mech and get those KMDDs, and that's pretty hard for a light mech sometimes for an average player playing the game. So yeah, like you're right. These challenges, I after looking at this, it's not for the casual dude. It's just for the guys that like you that can run in and with their pointy stick and kill battle masters and everything. That's basically like what it's actually probably designed for, which is kind of not cool at all, man.
Like last week we had the anniversary event that gave you
Yeah.
2 times XP, 50% extra C bills, and a whole bunch of extra stuff on top. And before that, you had the loot bags. Like, they were giving food pellets away hand
Yeah.
over. And then suddenly they throw a mountain in front of people, and well, I'm just not that interested in suddenly being faced with a mountain and getting, a few twigs at the top.
Well, yeah. Like what was it like? Some matches before they wanted like 300 like match score. That was a lot of hard. That was hard for a lot of people. So they always dropped it down to either 150 or to 100, like even just to get the loot bags. Like a long time. I think about a year and a half ago. So
yeah, 50 and 100.
Yeah,
super easy. As long as you take part, you'll get the 50 match score usually.
as long as just walk on the field, you get and you basically get a loot bag, type thing. But this, like you said, it's a mountain, man. I mean, the amount of time you have to spend in order to go do it for an average to even even to a mid-range player. I mean, that's a lot of time invested into the game, into one game. Like many people actually play many other different kinds of games. So like this is like taking up like everything.
Yeah, so it's a huge mountain, and at the end you don't get that many C-balls or MC. I mean, if you're playing lots of MWO anyway, all that MC does add up.
Yeah.
It's an extra 200, 300 MC or whatever. But the bolt-ons are really not worth one's time, particularly the ones that are only for one side of the mech.
Yeah.
If you put this, it's such a huge challenge. I would like at least left and right knuckles on my Arctic Cheetah.
Well,
the knuckle things in the Arctic Cheetah are probably really small anyway.
Well, maybe it's for those OCD people that go, man, I have this left knuckle. I got to get the right knuckle. I just have to have it, just 2 of them. I got to have them one on each side. So they got to spend $750 to get the extra knuckle. Basically got to spend $7 to get just, that might be their plan.
Yeah.
That might be their plan.
It's terrible, though, to be nickel-dimed after climbing that mountain. You climb to the top and you get of that mountain and you get a chopstick.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to buy the second chopstick.
Oh God! Actually, I have eaten rice with one chopstick before. It does work. You can do it.
you can run around with your mech with one bolt on one side for some reason.
Yeah. Oh man.
Just a lot of people like their symmetry.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Like, you see my mech designs, like, okay, I gotta have a large laser in each shoulder. That's it. I can't have a 1-to-1. One here, one on the other arm. Doesn't work for me. Okay.
I will say though, it was at least on doing lots of drops. There are a lot of people though playing these mechs. So, however huge this challenge is and how mediocre the rewards are, people are doing them, and I don't know, there's been a lot of salt. At least I saw a lot of salt because people are playing like absolute potatoes. I mean, it's a weekend as always, but it's all the weekend players turning up and playing their mechs that they have no clue how to use.
Actually, like, I jumped on I think Thursday and I think last Tuesday, and yeah, there was some salt going on, and I was like, okay, just people have salt and stuff. That always happens during events. You have to expect some type of salt for people, like you said, playing the garbage mechs that never played before and garbage builds just to get the extra damage or KMDDs or something like that. Jump in front of you. Yeah.
I had one match for just an example. At least it's mining collective. No one's on comms, so I sort of call to comms. Okay, guys, let's take the top, and people actually help me out. We take the top, and they lose their trades horribly because they're all playing these random mechs. They have no clue how to pilot,
Yeah.
and they may be unskilled. They may be trial mechs, and so most of my team do 100 to 200 damage. I'm in the Jaeger mech, so I pull 700 damage, and at the end, someone just sort of types, in our team chat, you refuse to admit how you're bad, so I'm reporting you. And I'm sort of like, wait, is he talking about me? Because I'm the only one who actually said anything that match. Because I was the only one who did anything that
I
match. I
love
don't know.
people like that.
And he's just so upset that that he's going through all these terrible, terrible matches. Because that was sort of what I had a lot of that night was.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would completely carry and sweep through the enemy team because the enemy is so bad, and other times, your team is so dead so quickly you don't have time to carry them.
I play a lot of games. I think Thursday, and I'm sitting there like I'll call for a charge like on top, like basically like to get Theta like in Caustic, and it's like just me. I'm just like looking around, going, where the hell is everybody? I'm like on top, taking all this damage, and like no one charges up because they want to go get that damage wise and not actually want to win the game, type thing. But yeah,
the only thing I see sometimes is that you call the charge when you're doing it, whereas me, it's like I call it as we're approaching the ramp, and then usually a lot more people come along, and that was good. People did come along. We were working together. I'm calling targets. We took a couple of guys down, and then I realized I was the only source of damage, and my teammates fell apart.
It's the only problem when I call charges is like I see an opening and I see him split, or I see him like do something that's wrong, and then I call a charge, right? Not like when I'm coming up there, like, okay, guys, we're gonna charge this thing. It's like when I see an opportunity, it's like, okay, charge and get this dude, type thing. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It happens. But yeah, so the event is pretty much for the not for the casual player, and it will take a little bit longer to go and do, guys. So just let you know. You got any more things about the event?
No, I think that's more or less it for the event. The event came along with a big sale as well, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure we talked about the sale.
Resistance and Invasion packs. These are the really big, large packs that they did when they started this whole mech pack stuff. These packs, I think, at least if you get the largest ones, qualify you for the top tier rewards.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do all the math right now, but look at, if you like that ECM Warhammer, maybe 30% off the Mauler pack right now might be the cheapest way to go there without having to buy 2 collector packs.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Now there's a couple. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, there's also a sale on in the store right now, which is 50% off. Basically the trial packs.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat, 50% off, and some are wondering at least if there's any exploits in terms of selling the mechs off again. Just like
right, yeah,
cheater.
Yeah.
Hopefully they've accounted for that right now. Maybe, who knows?
I'm pretty sure they did that though.
I do like, even if they put this giant mountain in front of us, this is the time to pick up these mechs. If you haven't got that Victor, but you already have the Banshee, the Victor, one of them at least, is really, really cheap.
I actually, for my alt account, I bought the Victor, I bought the Banshee, I bought the what other one did I get? There was like 2 other ones that I bought. It's like, well, that's a good price. I might as well pick them up all, and about the Jaeger mech, and I think I picked up I actually did pick up the Raven. So I bought like 4 mechs for good prices. I mean, that was halfway decent prices to go pick them up for. And I think I spent like 12 million for all of those, like 12 or 13 million. And it worked out good. So, I mean, it's a good sell if you don't have those mechs. They're okay designs. Like the Jaeger mech is more of a either a streak or a lure mech or something like that, because it does have the 4 missile points.
Well, that's the key thing, though. Actually, it's only the trial mech variants.
Yeah.
So even if the Jaeger mech has a couple ballistic ones, and one is a missile variant, I think the trial one is a ballistic one, isn't it?
It has 2 AC2s and 4 missile points.
4 missile points. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so I think that is the quote-unquote missile one that can also do Dakar, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
the most missile Jaeger mech. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
But
So
if you wanted the more Dakar focused ones, like doing lots of AC2s, those are not on sale.
I mean, I picked him up just because it's like, oh, okay, I got 28 extra mech bays, might as well pick up something, type thing. But I'll try them out and see how they are, and just kind of mess around with go mess around with the builds and everything. But I definitely stayed away from the Hunchback 2C though.
Yeah, the best I got out of this event was sort of we were doing gimmick drops last night, and we were trying to get everyone to play in the same mech. Oh well, one of the mechs we chose happened to be on sale, so it was super duper cheap to start off with, relative than usual. So like, oh, I don't have the Shadowhawk. Well, it's only 2 billion C-bills. Pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Well, 2 billion to start with. You still have to spend 1.5 billion on the double heat sinks upgrades. So
true. Yeah.
And all the other stuff like an XL engine and stuff.
One thing about the resistance packs, I don't think most people know that, is if you do pick them up though, you do get the paint job and the faction content as far as the paint job on all those different types of designs. So if you pick up the Panther, you pick up, say, like Davion, you get the Davion type skin basically, then Davion Warhorn, the hanging item, and faction items as well. You do get those. So it's a halfway decent purchase. But all these mechs that we've been talking about, you can get them for C-bills. But if you're just getting them just for, like Biter said, just for the just for the rewards, just pick up what it was, a Mauler, right? And the Mauler one.
Yeah, I think it's the Mauler pack. You have to get like the biggest ones. If you get second to largest, it doesn't count to the ultimate stuff, which is always so annoying.
Yeah, they should update these, because most of the time people pick up just the standard mechs from the mech packs, and they get like 30 days like premium time. The highest one they have is 60 days, and that's when you pick up the Zeus type thing, like for the for the resistance. 60 days like premium time, it's like you're sitting there going, well, you get better premium time than you do with a standard pack than you do actually purchasing like this thing. So they should update these. Would be a good idea.
I mean, yeah, there's lots of stuff they could do. Like obviously we'll talk about this later. The dropship deals still only are on the level of buying MC.
Yeah.
And some things like if you grab the crab pack, that's $40, which is roughly what you spend on a collector pack. Why isn't that on a similar level, to a collector pack? Why couldn't it contribute? But
yeah.
The problem is, as they keep adding more and more different varieties to their packs, there's going to be so many,
obsolete
combinations. So many combinations that they should take account for, but they don't.
Yeah, that's interesting. They'll actually look at that.
But at least, as I was saying, you sort of have to pick up 2 collector packs, I think, to be able to get the top tier reward, which is $80 ostensibly. You could find maybe a cheaper way, but
yeah.
Right now the Mauler pack, in contrast, is $56. That gives you 4 variants with a C-bill boost, including a whole bunch of mechs that you can maybe sell for C-bills or try out or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, it just seems weird they wouldn't actually go ahead and update these, because these are old. Like I haven't heard anybody purchase these whatsoever, and they would only purchase these just to get the anniversary rewards.
Yeah, all these mechs are out for C-bills, so what most people aren't that keen to pick them up. If you slice the price in half and just this is a go-to pack if you want to start the game, I wouldn't really see that as a problem. Start the Mauler pack off at $40. And if you're a new player to the game and you haven't got that many mechs, that would be a lot of mechage for your buck. I mean, you still have to pay $40, but at least you're getting quite a lot for $40. $80 though it's not such a sweet deal anymore.
Maybe like a first time buy type thing. Like if you haven't purchased anything like in the game as a new player, you get these mechs for $40 or something like that. Might be an idea. I mean, all it is, like generally, like all these are just zeros and ones basically. So you're paying for zeros and ones to play inside of a game. So something like this, PGI can actually make it. So they wouldn't make as much money off these, but at least they're making something for the amount of effort that they put into it. Because I've like I said, no one's bought these, at least that I know of, the type thing. In fact, comment down below if you guys have actually purchased these. But okay.
Yeah, it purchased these not when they launched, but
Yeah.
years afterwards.
Yeah, years afterwards. I mean, yeah, years afterwards.
Anyway, yeah, so that's the event. They're trying to remind people about these really old packs. Maybe they get enough sales to justify it, but at least to me, it is just not worth it. I already own all of these mechs anyway, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't really care necessarily about getting that. All I'm getting it for is the paint and the C-bill boosted variants.
Yep, that's what I would actually get them for too as well. Oh,
all right,
that
let's
okay.
crack on though with what was it? All Out Assault,
Assault.
another bundle pack. This time it's basically almost all the assault mechs in the game.
Yep.
Just pick 5 for $25. It's okay. $5 per assault mech. That's quite a good price relative to mech packs or whatever. And you can obviously choose 5 completely different mechs. So you get the Zeus, Warhawk, Victor, Supernova,
Yep.
Stalker, and you're good to go. You're not limited to getting 3 Night Stars for something.
Or you purchase all the atlases if you want to.
If you want to.
Now, basically, what was the last one? It was like it was for $30 you get 5.
Last one was Hero.
Yeah, the heroes. That was a good deal.
Yeah, that was a really good one, particularly since, again, there's a premium towards getting the mechs with C-bill boosts.
Yeah.
Whereas generic ones you can pick up for C-bills, you're not that are already out in the game. You don't feel too interested in, picking up mechs that you can already acquire for free.
Yeah,
if you
yeah, exactly.
in the game, and they haven't got C-bill boosts or anything like that. So it's a nice enough bundle, I guess. Presumably they are getting enough people buying these bundles to keep going, or maybe they're just desperate and they hope someday someone
people
will
buy them.
Dropship deals. Yeah.
We need money for Mechwarrior 5. Purchase these, please.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, 5 mechs for $25, $5 a mech, and a lot of these, if you shop around or actually kind of like just ask people, some of the Annihilators are good. I've been enjoying the 8. I think it's the AQ, like awesome. It's been very, very fun. Some of these mechs are pretty good, so it's a halfway decent sell. It's not as good as the Hero one for $30. That one was astronomically freaking cool, and they might actually do those. I definitely hope they do them for actually the like lower tier mechs, for like the mediums and the assault, or the mediums and the heavies.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll do next week. All the heavies available on sale, $25, pick up 5 or something.
Yeah. Sales. It's either you're doing good, you like the money, or you're doing bad and you need the money. So I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, yep. That wraps up the events and sales going on right this week. So we'll get cracking on with I think we have.
Just announcement basically.
Yeah.
Basically, if you guys haven't noticed, we do have a SoundCloud. We do have a SoundCloud like account, so you actually could hear this or go download it into your iPhone and listen to while you're in the car, in the garage, or what have you. So I'll leave links down below. I always leave links down below for everything we talk about. But check out the SoundCloud. Follow, basically comment if you guys want to, and everything else. And definitely check it out, guys. We do have SoundCloud, so help the SoundCloud account. That's it.
It's an option available.
Yeah.
Right. On to the main topic for this week, which would just be our impressions on the semi-finals, which they've been streaming on Piranha Games on Twitch.
I've enjoyed it. I mean, like I'm normally I used to play competitive, and I enjoyed it, but then it turned me to a monster. But I would have to say though, looking at these games, it's like, wow, this is like freaking amazingly cool. For one, it's 8 versus 8. For 2, it's stock mechs. That puts a lot of different skill involved into the game itself. And for 3, very tactical gaming. Every mech counts. Every mech, every pilot has to do their job. Everyone has to do their stuff. And if you mess up like one thing, your whole team will suffer. And I love that aspect of it. It's a lot more tactical than the normal pug matches that we're in, where everyone runs off and does their own thing, and hopefully you guys win. Luck of the draw. But I have to say that watching these, I was really excited. I was like, oh my god, are they going to make it? Are they going to do it? And it was so much fun to watch these. Like I watched like was it our RJF versus 2T like Y1s. It was a good game. I mean, 3 games. I was just on the edge of my seat watching these. It's like, oh my, I cannot express how cool it was watching these. What'd you think, Biter?
All right, yeah. So I mean, as you mentioned, the RGF versus 228 Wild Ones, I think, was sort of the highlight thus far. As
I just picked it for random, so yeah.
It was the most recent one, which is probably why you watched it.
Yeah, well, that too.
But yeah, I mean, that was because both teams were fairly evenly matched, even if they were doing different strats, and each of the matches came down to the wire, which made a very good,
Yeah.
one of the better viewing experiences of all the competitive matches we had thus far. On your points, at least in regards to stuff like 8v8, each mech counting a bit more, etc., etc. That was somewhat more the same, always been the case. Competitive, I think, has been for quite some time.
Yeah.
8v8s and Conquest. I've always been a fan of them choosing Conquest as the go-to mode, not just Skirmish.
Oh, definitely,
That
definitely.
way, there is a grander strategic level to it where you're having to vie for map control. That if one team just sits on a hill and says, haha, we've got the best defensive position on the map, the other team can say, well, we're just not going to approach it. And they cap the map.
Exactly.
So, yeah, the big difference for this season of competitive, somewhat on a whim it seems from Russ, was we've done the Meta Mech stuff with the custom builds 2 years in a row, and it's getting a bit stale. Let's just try stock mechs for 1 year.
Everyone's
And
so pissed off at that too, but it actually turned out well. I mean, it takes skill to use a stock mech. You can't just like run off and do your thing. Like we talked about, they go 60 miles an hour for mediums, so it's like not like you're not running around the field like a crazy man. And also too, like you're limited weapons. Like I watched a awesome with 3 PPCs being harassed and almost killed by a light mech. So we had to call those other light mechs, which were capping at which were capping at the time, to go help him out. I mean, there's a lot more tactical like involvement into this game, and good job, Russ. I mean, kudos, man, kudos for doing this. I'm gonna watch a lot more games now.
all right, so I think at least you and I much more like this is really selling it to us because the mechs are much more flawed. They have you're very much stuck with whatever builds are available, and there's a very limited pool compared to all the mechs that are currently in the game and you being able to customize it.
Yeah.
So um, these are you have a much smaller pick of the litter to choose from, and obviously, yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of the bigger mechs, even somewhat like in the mediums, if you take the Hunchback, that thing isn't a speed demon. It doesn't get around super quickly, not like the clan mechs where they're always going 81 kph, and therefore positioning isn't so important. In this, though, the bigger mechs, particularly like a lot of people taking the Annihilator, and that thing, of course, is using its stock engine. It's not even going was it like 48 kph? It's going like 30 kph. It's got a stock 200 engine.
It's an Irby.
Yeah, it goes Irby speeds, but of course the stock Annihilator can take stuff like 4 PPCs. That one has been seen a couple of times,
Yeah.
but also 4 AC10s. That's usually what I see, and that's a lot of great sustained firepower. 40 damage. You kind of pinpoint. Obviously, it's got projectiles and such, but 40 damage every 2.25 seconds. That's a pretty mean amount of firepower. It's a really good turret.
Well, also too, just a quick point though, too, like that amount of firepower is really powerful because you're using stock armor, which usually they have about 20 points in the back. Usually like we just take and make 1 or 2 points in the back, and then front load the armor. So that amount of damage is just monstrous, and it will just rip apart a lot of mechs that are on the field.
Yeah, if you can hit them, of course.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, there's sort of the question, at least, of the different viewing experiences and what people are looking for in competitive. I personally, at least, I quite like the fact that because a lot of the mechs are slower on average, and they have less overall, like they have less damage output. They often have, if you're taking something like the Stalker is often a popular pick, but that one, of course, is like 2 LRM-10s, an SRM-6 larges, and a couple of mediums. I think like it's got a whole smorgasbord of different weapons, which does make it really flexible. And in this kind of game mode, it actually having all those random different weapons gives it quite a bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's much more, I would say, not necessarily tactical, but strategic than previous years, in the sense light mechs, fast mechs, the ones running around doing the capping, can have a huge impact on the game. And there's a huge metagame around your light mechs, where they rotate, where they are in the fight. Like, are the lights ready to assist the push? Who are the lights scouting? What information are they getting? Like,
Yeah.
lights are a big deal. Fast moving lights and mediums, like the Phoenix Hawk can keep up. These
Jenner.
mechs, some like once or twice there was a Jenner, but you don't really want the Jenner because it's got paper armor. Um, but so real light mechs like the Locust,
Oh
the
yeah.
Javelin, the Wolfhound. I mean, the Wolfhound's got the tankiness, so it's got the lasers. The Javelin has the jump jets, laser loadout and good speed. And the Locust is just, helps you min-max your tonnage and has an okay loadout. But, and even unlike I saw Grim Plexus, the spider, the cap spider, was being used.
Oh
Its
wow.
only job was to run around and cap because it's got that 80% cap speed. So you said just the cap spider out on his own. He has to make sure he never gets caught out. But if he's allowed to do what he does, he just caps the whole map whilst both teams are jockeying for positioning. So on a strategic level, I would say that this game, watching it, I have a lot of fun with strategy, and I'm looking a lot at that mini map and going, oh, there's mechs over here, mechs over there, and the big guys, they've got a lot of firepower, they're really killy, but they're also really slow. So they're sort of your anvil, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
lights, the hammer, and it's all about their rotation. It's all about who they're scouting out, who they're holding locks onto to get LRMs. They're popping UAVs. They're doing this, that, and the other. Strategically, I would say stock mode, because matches are much longer. Positioning, teamwork, this, that, and the other. It's a lot more important. The downside, relatively speaking, for a lot of people who are interested in competitive or making it a viewing experience, is the power level is, of course, a lot lower. I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, matches take forever." They like these. At least in previous years, those who sort of like playing competitive or watching competitive, like seeing these really shooty, killy mechs. It all comes down to a really, it all comes down to trading and killing the enemy very quickly and
Yeah.
efficiently. There isn't obviously as much glitz and glam. There's not these huge, powerful laser strike alphas and people getting hit by PPC Gorse or whatever laser vomit kind of thing was popular at the time. So you're lowering the average level of the firefights, but you're raising the importance of the strategic layer, and it draws the fights out.
Which it should, though. Basically, like with any type of strategic game, it should. Like even in Call of Duty, when you watch tournaments, people have their specific roles that they do. And with this, I mean, the lights play a major part inside this game. I mean, just like he was talking about, is to assist the team. Watching the Awesome being hit by one light and then have two lights come over to help him out, that definitely put that team at a major disadvantage, because he had to go ahead and use those two lights to go ahead and like chase off the other light, in which then they weren't camping at the same time, so they lost that game. So based also too, Lerms played a major part like in this as well. Watched I think it's RGF, they were dictating the battlefield, and they're doing the first initial points of damage, and they got I think one or two kills from it. But I mean, like A versus A, one kill is like, oh my god, we started losing some points, and so they dictated what was going on in the battlefield. We talked about it like before. Lerms do dictate a lot of positioning, like on the battlefield as well too. But I mean, tactical wise, I mean, this is what competitive should be. Not I got the best alpha strike, I'm gonna go shoot you with a 600 point alpha strike. It should be tactical, it should be engaging, and it should actually be nail biting. And this is what I mean. Russ, you did a damn good job on this, and I'm thank you, man. This is what got me back into like watching these, because before I didn't really give I didn't give a crap. It's like, okay, well, like whatever. But this is like, I'm gonna start watching more just on my time off. It's great watching these, and the announcers, Bandit and I forgot the other guy's name. Like, what's his name? Do you know? Yeah, but like Bandit and the other guy, good job calling it, good job engaging, good job talking to the audience like while they're getting ready. Awesome job, guys. I want to go shake your height. I don't want to shake your hands when I get there, man, but damn good job at that as well too. It's just you're very engaging like in the talk as well.
They do a very good job with the tools available to them. The
Yeah,
problem, at
yeah.
least with MWO, is, of course, it's unlike a game like Overwatch or whatever. It's not built from the ground up to really be this spectacle. It's not really built from the ground up to be a competitive thing. I would say the big draw for MWO would usually be the ability to customize your mechs and tailor your experience.
Yeah.
It's like the customizability. Well, I mean, I would love to be able to see, just at the start, okay, here's the, let's look at the mech lab. Okay, well, this guy's got the regular loadout. This guy's got the regular laser vomit loadout. This guy's got the regular laser vomit loadout. Oh, wow, this guy's got a targeting computer Mark 1. But they don't even have that, of course. But even then, like, when matches are playing, at least, all they've got is this sort of overview camera. You'll see you're very pulled back away from the action. I mean, you have to be. It's kind of hard to keep track of everything that's going on. The maps are big. The teams 8v8 is a lot of players to keep track of. So you can't really keep track of all of their armor conditions. You can't keep track of all their heat conditions. You can't follow each and every shot that is happening. And the problem, at least in my opinion, with previous years of competitive, with these very good, very potent alpha strikes, it can sometimes be like 2 or 3 good burns on somebody's CT and they're dead. And visually, at least as a spectator, all you sort of see of that is, a couple of lights on the screen for a second. So, oh, that was a good burn, say the commentators. And yes, I understand it's a good burn, but it doesn't. You don't really have, like, with a fight with everyone exchanging blows, the fight could be over very quickly, relatively speaking, and all you've got to go on is the overall percentage that mechs have, which can be very misleading. If somebody has their arm blow off, their other arm blown off, they get all their armor stripped, they're on one leg, and they're just the center torso limping towards the enemy. They have just done a brilliant job tanking. But obviously, it's hard to tell that until you see them in that deprived state, and by that point, they've already done their job. They're already basically out of the fight.
Yeah.
So, at least with these mechs being, on average, having a lot less firepower, taking much longer to chop each other down, there is the firefights drag on for a bit longer. This means the commentators have more time to talk about, and oh, hey, here comes the push, but they've got somebody in the flank. They actually have time to say that rather than, that guy's
everyone's dead. Exactly. Exactly.
And at least that's what you and I, Bob, were talking about. At least with particularly that match we watched, we referenced Wild Ones and the other group, RGF. A lot of the matches you're sort of on tenterhooks because it could go one way or the
other. Yeah.
And at least also in that match, they brought up a cursor on the center of the screen so they could actually more reliably click on mechs to check their status.
Yeah, I know.
Previous matches and previous years, they would sort of click one guy per match, maybe 2. Which means you're keeping track of the Wolfhound stats who had a skirmish at the start, and you don't see, I just wish, somebody takes a big alpha strike and they click on them and you can see that their CT is opened up, but instead, the information, the trickle of information to the audience is always a bit unreliable in that regard. So with having more time to see what's going on, obviously the casters are able to do a better job, in my opinion, of presenting MWO. And personally, at least, it being a more strategic game where there's a lot of movement with the faster moving mechs, but then there's a big crunch where the big heavy guys come slamming together, or lurming the other side, I guess.
Yeah.
For me, that is way more interesting than having all these very good peeking, poking mechs, because in the end, it was always just which team peaked better. And surely, yes, there is skill to that, and some teams have much better peaking and coordination.
Peaking skill,
but to me, it's just sort of Oh joy! I get to watch Snipe Warrior online.
Yeah, actually, this has much more strategic commentaries and just different things. I watched, I think it was RJF, like when they were in a mining collective. They pushed over the ramp and literally they were being like assaulted because like 228 actually like did a perimeter of just shooting on that just shooting that ramp and did a great job at it. Watched a hunchback like 4P get his right torso blown off, which has all his weapons, and then he had to like back up, and it's like, oh my god, that guy's gonna die, but he actually did pretty good backing off and doing what he did, and then his friends were shooting like crazy, and it was just a good fight. And the commentators actually said, they're pushing in, they're doing this, and this is what's happening. You're watching this happen instead of, oh, he peeked, he's dead. Oh, he peeked, he's dead. Oh, he peeked, but he took half damage, so he's almost dead. This was actually the commentary is like amazing. It's like, oh my god, what is going to happen now? And it was just tactical wise, was just crazy cool. And I'm gonna watch a lot more of this, man. This is, I mean, I can't wait to go watch this at like MechCon. And go see and just see who these guys are, and just, oh man, it got me excited about Mechwarrior, man. To tell you the truth,
I mean that push was a very interesting fight, for my opinion, more so than just the snipe fights we've been having, where the team that is pushing, are much more easy to get their guns online and focus on one guy. So like that poor hunchback guy, he has to just run away as quickly as possible.
I know.
Took a lot of fire to the very valuable hunch.
I thought he was going to die right then and there because they pushed as soon as he actually backed up.
Yeah, but they stopped shooting him because he lost most of his firepower.
Yeah.
There's better targets to shoot down at that point.
Yeah, true.
But that's why then they go on to focus down the Black Knight. But all that time, they are in a concave. All the other mechs are shooting in on them. Like the Annihilator is off to the side in a quite occluded position, just raining AC-10 fire onto their position. And so even though one team is trying to take the initiative, you're not you're trying to keep track of who's winning these trades. The Hunchback is mostly out of the fight. The Black Knights go down very quickly. The Vindicator gets killed off in a random corner somewhere. And eventually they all quickly return fire at the Annihilator and gun him down, but he's already done 700 damage. And it all trades out. In the end, there's only one mech left on each side, one mech on each standing on each side, and there's only one team had a lot more caps, and they needed one more cap, and the Javelin managed to kill
the Annihilator.
The enemy's Annihilator and a Hunchback. He manages to finish off the enemy cap the last point and win the game. And that was a great nail biting sequence, and I really enjoyed those games.
Oh, definitely, man. That was just that was amazing to watch. Plus, also too, like positioning too. Like I watched the Javelin, which is piloted by like Navid, and then the Grasshopper were trading shots against against a Vindicator, like in the beginning. And the Vindicator was going against two, but he couldn't really do it, so he had to go away. But it's like positioning counts, and then the commentators were like, "And here comes the Grasshopper jumping up there to go and like go start trading shots." It was cool to watch, and I'm very happy they do that.
Yeah, I think a fair number of people, at least I'm seeing in the chat and such, are not a fan of matches taking so long. They are like, "Oh, this is so slow, it's so crippled." But for me, I'm like, finally, positioning, DPS, spreading damage, this, that, and the other. It gives you time to count the punches and where they've actually landed. It allows these differences in DPS, this, that, and the other to really take place.
Definitely.
Interestingly, at least I've seen a lot more UAV usage. Of course, plenty of mechs have there's LRM drops. There's been a couple of brawl drops, mostly laser fighting. Trading matches. But even then, like you have some teams, they'll take PPC Awesome, take PPC Annihilator, even on Rubelite Oasis. But they work pretty good because at least the PPCs are somewhat the longest range inner spear weapons, and you can hit somebody out at 1k. It's not great damage, but every little bit counts. But of course, there's big downsides to these really slow. The Annihilator's a super slow moving turret, and if it takes the PPCs, it has a minimum range. Like, mechs with actual downsides. I mean, sure, that's not the top tier bestest mech you could always take into quick play, but I like seeing stuff like PPCs having minimum range and having a huge weakness. I like seeing I mean, it was interesting. Like, it's very debatable, but at least it was funny seeing an ammo explosion from
Yeah,
JZ
yeah,
taking out a stalker, suddenly changing changing the the flow of battle completely. And in Clan Wars, at least older competitive, because everyone has case in every component with Clan mechs. There's never any risk of ammo explosions other than maybe taking a component out sooner. And because you're an energy boat, you don't really have ammo explosions
yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
But so it's just sort of fun seeing all these mechanics that are actually in the game, seeing light mechs being way more relevant than they used to. Like light mechs before, they were your glass cannons. They basically tried to be piranhas before piranhas were in competitive.
yeah.
You would take the Mistlings with 8 machine guns sometimes. You take the was it the Arctic Cheetah, I think, with all the small pulse and maybe machine guns. And you would jump on weakened mechs and gun them down. But light mechs was just so token to the effort because they needed to sort of jump in and finish off mechs, but it was all about the big boys. This
It's all
meta
about the
though with
lights, man.
competitive, yeah, well, it's about both really. The big guys need to be there to share armor, to slug it out, and distract, whilst the light mechs, keep their DPS up. But yeah, light mechs, a good light mech play has a huge impact on this game, and I love that smaller little guys can sometimes pull bigger damage numbers than the 75 tonners.
You know, well, like that's basically that's what this game should be, is a lot more tactical warfare and more like like info warfare. Basically, it's like, okay, these mechs are up here, they're doing this. Here's what the mechs are. So what are we gonna go do, guys? And that's what actually like a light mech, like a light scout mech, should actually be doing. All we see like in pug play is the piranhas running up on your butts and shooting you, and then go ha ha ha, and then run away, that type of thing. But this, man, I mean, damn, I mean, it was just watching it was amazing. Okay, I can't say enough of this, man. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. It's just cool. I
Yeah,
miss that in games, though, to tell you the truth.
I personally, it's all about personal preference. Like some really like seeing, the best mechs facing off against the best mechs with the best pilots, and who can gun the other team down fastest. And that you do you. That's your preference. But at least for me, I love seeing more tools in the toolbox. I
Yeah,
like seeing matches take more time to play out. I like seeing positioning, caps, this, that, and the other, all taking a part in the game. That it's a much more broader strategic game, and at least with the tools available, it's really like um, I can't really enjoy these top meta pick mechs because I can't see every burn. I don't. There's not an instant replay feature to see.
yeah,
Oh, look at that! He just took 70 damage to the CT. Instead, it's just sort of some lights happened and the mech falls over. And like, well, I guess he died. He just took too many super powerful alpha strikes. I didn't really
yeah,
get to see it. I mean, obviously there were some really good, like, because the matches play so quickly. There's a lot more adrenaline in the best meta mechs facing off against one another. These inner sphere mechs, though, they they're sort of trundling along, smoke chugging out of them, firing their little pew pew lasers with limited range. But I find that quaint, and at least for me, I like I much prefer the strategic layer when watching these things.
yeah. Man, for me, I much prefer the more flaws the better type thing. Because if I beat you with a very flawed mech, yeah, basically, I love being the underdog. I love being the person with the PPC. Awesome. And then if I pull it off, that I feel even just more empowered. Like, yes, I pulled it off against a light mech. And, just like whatever, basically. But I just enjoy more flaws like in Dungeons and Dragons. I'll rather play a peasant at 10th level, first level peasant in a 10th level game, no problem. I just love doing it. If I survive, kicking. But I role played it out of it. I talked my way out of it, or did like whatever. And I enjoy playing the underdog mechs. It just empowers me, and that's my preference. That's why I like this so much. It's lore builds.
It's a bit like in D&D. You could take a character called Gary Stu. He has 18 in every stats, and he has your own custom class that allows
it's boring.
him to have all, he has skills and all the skills, and he has super powerful stuff. And yeah, it's boring. There's no flaws to it. Whereas at least for Mechwarrior Online, I feel that having these more your lighter mechs have much larger role. There's speedy ones, there's slow ones with lots of firepower. There's a grander strategic level that everyone has to worry about because matches actually play long enough for that level to play out, and we actually have time for the spectators, the commentators, to keep track of the action and click on mechs and see what damage they're taking and follow
Yeah.
at least follow the brawls as they carry out and see them in reasonable enough detail. The problem with these much larger alpha strikes, trading wars, is it's a lot of peeking and sniping, and
Yeah.
it's just a lot of Gary Stews firing at one another. And
Perfect.
I can't even follow all of their, they roll a d20 and add 50 to it. I can't even see the add 50. I mean, if you just love seeing Gary Stew do his stuff, the tools aren't there to see him, be awesome at everything.
Now the tools are there, it's just no one uses it because basically they don't have to. It's over so quickly. A perfect example was my wife goes, "Hey, honey, what type of mech is the best mech to go use that I could go use?" My wife's a potato, right? So I say, "Honey, you can use a Hellbringer with use a meta build for the Hellbringer, and you have no problem doing damage." So she's saving up to get that Hellbringer now. So I'm sitting there going, with the it's so easy to use for a meta mech. I mean, granted, there's a certain amount of skill, don't get me wrong, but for her to jump into a Hellbringer, and I'm gonna go video it and go show her how to play this thing, and say, and my wife is a complete absolute potato. Like, I love my wife to death, but she's a potato. But the whole thing is, though, she's gonna go get like 900 points of damage her first game. I mean, literally, this is like, that's what I don't.
She'll be more consistent.
Yeah.
I'm saying
she's going
to do 200, 300.
She'll be more consistent of what's going on, but at least, it's like an easy build, meta builds, But with stock builds, it's a lot harder to do because you have, 6 different weapon systems. They're not optimized. You're not front loading your armor. They're very slow. You have, like standard engines. You're looking at a lot of different flaws for these mechs that you actually have to have skill to go be involved into using that stock mech, or the type of build instead of just a meta mech.
I mean, one thing, at least in my mind, comes seeing this is obviously the meta that has developed is very typically a lot of lasers, mediums, larges, maybe PPCs even, but a lot of energy vomit. Even with it being restricted to only meta mechs. Now, what reasons are there for that? Well, one is obviously ammo explodes. So even if you can take the grasshopper with LRM5 in the head, you don't really want it because you risk that ammo explosion, and the LRM5 is just needless micro that doesn't really add anything. It adds
it's useless now,
very,
actually.
very little spread damage, to the fight. It is practically useless, even in the stock meta. And obviously, at least everyone is in standard engines. If you have splatter damage, you're chopping through the arms, the side torsos, the legs, and then eventually the CT. Whereas with lasers, you can focus that fire down into the CT and kill mechs as quickly as possible. And that's fine. I'm not saying that, they're playing it wrong by killing people efficiently. I'm not that upset. But even with stock mechs like this, I'm a little sad, at least other than the Commando, there's hardly any SRMs on the field. Why is that? Well, SRMs have travel time, which means against smaller targets, it's quite hard to hit, and they splatter a lot. They don't have Artemis for what good Artemis is.
Yeah, I know. I was just about to say that too.
So it's just, even in stock meta, you can't, like the Kintaro 18 sees very limited play, and when it does, it's not that much of a powerhouse because its shots are unreliable. Unlike laser weapons, its shots are very limited in range. Unlike laser weapons, even a medium laser can reach twice distance. And it splatters all over the place, which is terrible. So even in the stock meta, at least, SRMs are still kind of obsolete. I mean, it could work, sure. If you find a really close range brawl and you have a brawl deck and they have a laser deck, you could probably just about win that out. But the problem is, you only have a slight advantage with SRMs.
Well, also too, like most of these stock mechs were designed from a tabletop game where one ton of ammo was enough to go and use, and so you're looking at these mechs like a lot of the SERM mechs or SERM heavy mechs would have 1.5 tons of ammo for like 5 serms. So you're looking at that, and then also like the archer, like I've seen the archer use and I've seen the Hunchback 4J use. They don't, as a stock build, they don't have a lot of ammo. So like you're looking at a lot of laser vomits would happen, and then even the Enforcer, like watch one game, the Enforcer ran out of ammo during the game. I think he has like 1 ton. That's nothing. Like I mean that's like I'll blow that in 5 seconds, no problem. But go ahead.
I'm just saying though, broadly at least, SRMs have been fading from quick play over time because they have a very specialized niche and they're not even very good at it compared to just more reliable, consistent mid-range options. Why take an SRM6 when you could take an MRM10? And even in stock mode where everything is, relatively slow paced, everything is relatively low damage, SRMs, the brawler archetype, doesn't find its place other than on the commando. Other than a fast mech with, good,
good hitboxes.
With good hitboxes and good survival quirks. And that just, at least as me, I personally really like brawling. I would love to see brawling as more of an option in competitive in general. Like the assassin was the standout in the past, and the closest we got to it is the commander. But I'm always just sad to see one mech, one tiny little guy with SRMs. There's no, I mean, obviously, I don't think, there's no stock. The missile Cyclops brawler 6 SRM 6, but the Katara or other brawly mechs, like I think the Orion, maybe the Atlas, kind of, just. It's so sad to see SRMs in the place that they are. In stock meta, in quick play meta, they are just not cutting it.
Well, maybe next tournament they'll have maybe the war of 3039, basically, and they did have some type of mechs with XL like engines, so they might actually do that as well. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm just saying at least you have Kintaro already there with SRM24, lots and lots of armor.
Yeah.
A really decent brawler. If you can get that Kintaro pretty close, it does a lot of damage, 48 damage up close. That's pretty good compared to laser vomit mechs, kind of. I think, well, it's like face to face with a hunchback, like the energy hunchback. That's quite popular.
Yeah.
It should win in a brawl, kind of, or at least it should trade out. But my concern, at least, is that SRM Kintaro, if the hunchback's moving left to right, side to side, you have to lead your target because the frickin' SRMs have really, and even if you hit the target, they spread like crazy. Whereas the hunch, you could just shoot your CT, shoot your CT,
yeah,
shoot your CT, and you're gonna go down armor quirks or not be damned. So I mean, that's just a personal gripe of mine. I just think SRMs are in a bad place in MWO, and I feel so sorry for them because I love brawling.
Yeah. So, do we have anything else about the semifinals? Besides it's cool.
Well, so yeah, I mean, obviously in the semifinals we've seen plenty of metas. I've seen a brawl drop deck. I've seen plenty of an injury drop decks. I've seen Lerm drop decks used to great effect and mediocre effect because you can rely on the Lerm god, but there's only so much time you can sit back and Lerm. You have to get in a fight eventually.
And funny you should say that. Actually, one of the groups was named Lerm God. Yeah,
one of the players.
Yeah, one of the players.
I've seen him around.
Yeah.
I'm a little. I have had a look at the brackets. It's a two-stage knockout, so everyone's playing against each other. If you lose once, you go into the losers bracket, and then you just have to keep winning until you have a chance to reach the finals. So that's fairly regular affair, and since we have only like 12 teams or whatever, that's fine. It makes complete sense. It's kind of funny how they've done it with Eon, Synergy, and EMP. I think coming in against a team who has already just won a match, so to speak. Like they come in a stage later. The thing is, though, I think these guys were the finalists last year. So and they creamed their opposition mostly. So in the end.
But it's a different game, though. You basically like it's not like before. It's a different game. So if you're they might be good at meta builds, but they might not be good at stock builds.
Usually, though,
skill wise,
they are better players on average.
Yeah.
So even if with a different meta, they're going to play out better. It's a bit like some people, even though some people are very consistent poker players. Poker is a game completely based on chance, or at least there's a lot of chance in it.
Yeah.
but knowing how to read other players, doing all the bluffing and just learning to play the good odds and all that means there's some people who are very good at consistent poker, even though you have to just play with the cards you're dealt.
Definitely.
So anyway, I thought it was an odd kind of favoritism for those two teams, but in the end, they did very well against their competition in the end. So
Yeah.
I can't complain too much. The only thing about the losers bracket, I mean, it's a bit confusing for me because of these two teams coming in later. But a team that loses against EMP, for example, comes up against a team who lost in the first go.
Yeah.
Like normally the losers bracket, if you lose the first time, you fight somebody else who loses the first time. Like the sooner you lose, the quicker you go into the losers bracket, and the longer you have to go along. And that was the kind of funny thing I think with RJF and 228 Wild Ones. 228 Wild Ones lost against EMP, whereas RJF had lost initially against Dude. So we have a team that already had won one game and one team that hasn't won any games fighting up against one another.
Who's gonna fight 42? Along the bottom actually. Yeah. That I don't know because the bracket's full. Wait, they got no, actually 373 might actually be fighting against a 42 because they don't have anyone to go fight, so they might actually put them together or something like that.
Not all the stages have been done yet.
Okay, never mind then.
It will fill up with time, but yeah, at least to me, it's a little hard to figure out how it will all fit together. But that says L7, L6, so the loser of the 6th and 7th matches, I think you'll see.
Oh, okay.
You see, they're all numbered. This is the numbers they play it in. So the very top left, it starts match 1, match 2, match 3, and eventually we get match 6 and 7. So the losers of 6 and 7 go down there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Russ, awesome job. Good calling on stock warfare. Awesome, man. I really did enjoy it. Of course, I did watch the best match, but I'm going to start watching some other ones. I mean, just amazing, man.
I think, you and me at least, I think we're the market demographic for the stock loadout.
Yeah.
I can't speak to those who are actually competing or those who usually watch these things. It's hard to gauge the overall community sometimes. Yeah, I don't pay that much attention, honestly, so I can't really say. But I would at least say I like that they mixed it up because
definitely.
I wasn't that interested the first year or the second year
or the third year.
If it just keeps going, it's the same thing every time, and it's the same teams winning every time, and it's the same mechs mostly every time. The ones you see in quick play being used all the time. It's just so monotonous, so boring, and at least with the tools available, I wasn't so interested in seeing Gary Stu rolling a 28 when I don't even see the dice roll being happening on screen.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, literally, like we sat, I think it was last year, we sat in chat, like all of us were just talking and chilling out, watching watching MechCon, and it's like, hey guys, another championship. I don't give a shit. We're going to go play another game. Type of thing.
Thing as well. Because there's more variety in the stock loadouts, there's way more variety in the maps. It's not Canyon Network.
Yeah, I know. God.
Do you remember how people cheered when we
had the
Polar Highlands?
Exactly.
I mean, that was the highlight of last year for me, was doing something different.
Yeah. Oh god.
I mean, it was still sniping on Polar Highlands, but it was such a different play style and map and environment. I was just like, yes, something different.
Yeah.
And this competitive season, at least, we see a lot of variety of maps, using Grid Plexus, Rubelite Oasis, but also Caustic Valley, Mining Collective. Like, most of the maps are seeing play. There's not a top pick map. I think is Canyon in the
no, actually Canyon. I didn't see Canyon in the matches I was watching. It was Caustic actually. It was Caustic twice and then Mining Collective. Like in the art,
Yeah, they will often pick the same map twice sometimes, but you know,
Yeah.
there still is variety. But
Well, the thing is, though, Canyon will be harder though because you could design your mech to
no
have jump jets. Yeah,
no
a lot
speed.
of mechs don't have jump jets.
Oh yeah, there is Canyon. I've seen Canyon matches.
Oh, okay,
But yeah,
okay.
as we said, the mechs are less able to traverse it. They aren't able to snipe at this ridiculous distances like
Yeah,
before. So you can't cover, you know, a quarter of the map with that one sniping position.
exactly.
Instead, I've seen a lot of pushes on Canyon Network, teams wanting to do bum rushes basically. I'm like,
Hmm.
dude, I think they like taking a Brawlier deck and just rushing towards the enemy with their energy loadouts. And they caught SJR out, I think, with it. But against what was it, Eon? I think they just got utterly creamed. Eon saw it coming, they formed a firing line and gunned down the brawlers, so they ran in, you know,
Yeah.
from 500 range.
Oh
So
God.
yeah, but again, that was fun because you saw it's the same tactic, but completely different outcomes due to how the teams reacted on
Yep.
a strategic level. And
Yeah.
it still, you know, it still took a while for it to brawl out. It wasn't they run across an open field and 2 or 3 of them get gunned down in seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I love so many different drop decks, so many different maps, so many different ways the maps play out. I'm still annoyed by consumable spam, but
Yeah, but yeah.
you know, it's way more fun for me to watch on the strategic level, and I can actually have more time to follow what's going on. And there's, you know, because the matches are taking longer, the game mode Conquest plays much more strongly.
And I enjoy it. That's the main point for me. I enjoy it. And that's, last year I just sat there. It was like grueling watching the matches, and then okay, 8 o'clock shows. Let's go see what's going new. And we said it's like, oh, okay, I'll be back about 7:50 and see what's going on. Type of thing. So I enjoy it. It's good, man.
Well,
Russ, awesome job.
We just had it
Yeah,
running
man, just
in the background.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like, oh look, it's another snipe fest on Canyon Network. Oh, I wonder who'll snipe better this time. Oh, 2 years of this. I'm really feeling like having
I gotta
more
watch
years of
it.
this.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the semifinals. That is everything about this week for First Circuit Podcast number 57. Do appreciate you guys watching. Our host Biter.
Clark.
And Oldbob Blarg. So thank you guys. We appreciate everything you guys do, and we'll see you on the battlefield.